bienvenido and a warm welcome from the second DTM race of the season 2010. It's the first time that we drive in Valencia. We had this weekend a very thrilling qualifying and an exciting race. So here are the highlights of the weekend. Please do enjoy.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. Well, for the first time for the DTM and after 4 races at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, this year's trip to Spain for the series actually takes place at Valencia. Valencia is the 3rd largest city in Spain with a population of over 800,000. The Mediterranean metropolis achieved worldwide fame as the venue for the America's Cup, and since 2008, of course, the Formula One circuit has paid an annual visit to the street circuit around the harbour. However, the DTM race would be at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, better known as a motorcycle venue, and this track runs counterclockwise, quite a tricky circuit, but always very difficult for overtaking. The goal for Audi in Valencia was to bounce back from the Mercedes 1-2-3-4 triumph at Hockenheim. And of course, now they have a Spanish driver. There he is, Miguel Molina, as the figurehead for this race. He is, of course, the first Spaniard to race in the DTM. The track, of course, the most southerly of all the European rounds of this 10-event series. And as I said, it runs counterclockwise. So, what do the drivers think of this racetrack? Let's hear from some of them right now.
The track is quite difficult because there's only really turn 1 that's a fast, normal corner, as I would say it. The rest is really twisty and turny and quite difficult. With the surface is a bit different as well, especially with the new tyre compound that we're running.
I really like this circuit. I think it's fantastic. I'd say that overtaking here is really difficult, so the qualifying is going to be very important. The circuit is super and it's fun.
Sehr anspruchsvoll, die Strecke.
It's a very demanding circuit. Doing a good lap here is amazingly difficult. Depending on the weather, conditions can change radically. Of course, when it's cooler, that's better for the tires, and when it's warmer, we skid a bit more. But in Valencia, that's really extreme.
Sehr ganz extrem.
The most difficult part is in the first sector, the corner number 3 and number 4 are 2 right-hand corners, and there is the most difficult part of the track, I think.
Fahrerisch
It's a good circuit to drive, but overtaking is going to be tough here too. That's why over the next few days we'll be working hard on preparing for the race.
jetzt die Tage, sich wirklich auf das Rennen vorzubereiten.
There are stretches where you come out of turns and go over the curb extremely hard. That means you have to go over the artificial turf they have in Valencia, and that sends you over bumpy stretches that aren't exactly suited to the car.
So, marks out
it'll
of
be
10.
an interesting race, I think.
Ich denke, Valencia.
In terms of difficulty, I'd give Valencia a 7.
Momentan.
Right now, I'm even inclined to give it an 8.
Also ich würde sagen.
I'd say 8 as well.
I think 5.
Also ich würde.
I'd give the track a 5 too.
At the moment, I would say 10.
Well, I give it a 6.
Wieder Nummer 6.
So the average, well, just about 7 then. Qualifying. Pole position went to Matthias Ekstrom at Valencia. The difficult track layout and high track temperatures certainly proved no problem for the Audi driver.
In general, I have to say the track was changing character quite a lot, and we managed to handle the situation best of everybody, and that's why we are up front.
Bruno Spengler will be starting in 2nd place alongside the Swede. A very good performance and separated by 16 thousandths of a second.
Today is a good result, 2nd for the whole team. A big thank you to them because the test here wasn't very easy in March, but we improved the car a lot. since that time, they did a great job.
Audi driver Oliver Jarvis ended up third, followed by fellow Brit Guy Praffett. A few problems in the Final Four shootout cost Mercedes-Benz driver decisive tenths. Again, DTM rookie Miguel Molina produced a convincing performance and made excellent use of the home advantage. He knows this track particularly well.
My second qualifying in DTM. In the first race we did in Q2, here in Valencia in Q3, it's a good result for me.
Once again, reigning DTM champion Timo Scheider seemed to have some problems. For him, qualifying was over at the end of Q2. Some misunderstanding with teammate Molina didn't help either.
We were all in the lineup in the fast lane to do our first stint in Quali 2, and he was just coming out of the pits, and actually his engineer was sending him just in front of me out, and I was just a bit upset about this.
Ralf Schumacher and David Coulthard were also out in Q2. For DTM rookie Coulthard, who'd failed to make it beyond the first section of practice at Hockenheim, this was an improvement. For Coulthard, the goal for the race was quite clear. And there, the top 10 positions, you see them on the screen. Ekstrom, Spengler, Jarvis, the top 3, and going all the way down to Catherine Legg, although she was feeling somewhat unwell. Miguel Molina. In 2010, he's the shooting star of the DTM and of Audi. But who is this Spaniard known to everyone as Magic Molina, and how did his career begin?
Yeah, I started in go-karts, and then I started with 7 years old, and then I jumped a little bit in go-karts category, and then the last 3 years I did Formula Renault 3.5 and was not so bad, and now I have this opportunity here with Audi, and I will take it.
The 21-year-old has adapted very quickly. Molina was already convincing in his first DTM race, 8th place at Hockenheim, 1 point in the drivers' ranking.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Take a point in my first race in DTM. I think it's really to be happy, and well, we did a great job. We always learning. We are always learning something. So the first experience in DTM, I can say that it's really good for me.
Now it's off to Valencia, a home race for him, something special. In the pre-season tests here, he was the fastest Audi driver straight away. He wants the success story to continue.
Now we have the second race in Valencia. We will do the same job that here. I think we must continue in this way, because I think it's the good way to do a great season.
Molina is a modest person. He's very cautious about stating his objectives.
My personal goal is, I think it's only to take the most of experience that I can, because I know that the championship is really difficult. A lot of drivers, a lot of good drivers, and my first year here will be so difficult.
Miguel Molina from Lloret de Mar. He wants to achieve a lot. At some point, he wants to be at the top of the podium, and he's already made a very good start. In the future, we're going to have to watch out for Magic Molina. But of course, David Coulthard is the best known newcomer to the DTM. He's driving the bright yellow Deutsche Post Mercedes. And prior to the race, Christina Sura caught up with DC.
I'm here with David Coulthard. Now, David, you made one step forward in your second DTM race, P14. So are you excited about the result?
Well, I'm glad that I've made a progress, because in Hockenheim I was the slowest of the Mercedes drivers, which is obviously not my intention. And I said that this race was about trying to make a step. So far, so good.
You had a break from 4 weeks from Hockenheim to here, to Valencia. So a long time. Had you time to prepare yourself, and what did you do?
Well, I guess the other DTM guys had a break of 4 weeks, but I'm active with Formula One, of course, going to the Grand Prix. I was also at the Mille Miglia, which is a classic rally event, and my co-driver was Mika Häkkinen, who was my old teammate in Formula One. So we were driving through Italy, which was lots of fun. We were going to Imola and also to Fiorano, which are two great tracks to be driving as well.
Who was driving, Mika or you?
He allowed me only to drive 100 kilometers, and basically I took it that he just needed me to read the map, because Mika's not interested in reading the map. But the reality is, I think he just wanted to push and scare me a little bit, because he was giving, on some of the mountain passes, he was a little bit like a Finnish rally driver rather than a racing driver.
Lucky you came here to Valencia. P14, I told you already, the race, what do you expect for that?
Well, I hope that I can finish the race. Obviously, that's the most important thing at this stage in my DTM career. If I can make a place or gain some time, then that would be great. But the most important thing is to try and see the checkered flag.
Thank you, David, and good luck.
Thank you.
The race started in bright sunshine, but without Catherine Legg. She had a stomach bug, which laid her low. Also, Timo Scheider, the current champion, was making his 100th start in the DTM. The driver's being called down by Mercedes man Tony there, the team doctor. There's Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, and there's the number 100 on Timo Scheider's car.
Matthias Ekström, after an upset race in Hockenheim, you're back on track and you had a stunning qualifying yesterday. You clinched pole. So are you looking forward to the race?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be in pole position, but it's always nice to have a great race result. So today the aim is to do a good start, have good pit stops, a good strategy and a quick car, and hope that we will fight for a victory in the end of the day.
So let's check out our virtual grid then. On the pole, Matthias Ekström for the 14th time. Alongside him, Bruno Spengler, the French-Canadian. Then it's Oliver Jarvis and fellow Brit, Gary Pappett, winner, of course, in the opening round at Hockenheim. Paul de Resta and Mike Rockenfeller on row 3. On the 4th row of the grid, Miguel Magic Molina and the Frenchman Alexandre Premat. Then it's Martin Tomczyk and Timo Scheider. Those Audis further back than we expected. Marcus Winkelhoff and Jamie Green. Then the two Formula One men, Ralf Schumacher and David Coulthard. Maro Engel and Frankie Cheng from China. And Susie Stoddard at the back, but no Catherine Legg, as we mentioned. So cars coming to the grid. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich and Norbert Haug both watching in anticipation. Cars pulling across, trolleys up to protect from the sunshine. Temperatures around 27 degrees C. And of course, getting one of these DTM cars off the line, always pretty tricky. Ekström it is in the Red Bull car on the left, Spengler on the right. Formula One starting procedures. The lights will come on. 3, 4, 5, and then out they go. And who makes a good start? It's certainly Ekström. Absolutely cracking start for Ekström. Hasn't won a DTM race now for almost a year and a half. Has been denied a couple of times with tyre problems. But straight into the lead, and Gary Pappett with a bit of a problem. I think he was pushed a little bit wide. Pappett has certainly dropped back. Spengler well up though in second place. Jarvis third. The rest also went past Gary Pappett. Got a bit of a nudge, I think. And this circuit named after the twice 50cc world motorcycle champion Ricardo Tormo from Valencia, who died, I think it was 11, 12 years ago now from leukemia. There's Pappett in the white car with the orange nose. So he really didn't benefit from that start. And, a bit of aggressive stuff going on there with Premat, and Premat bumping into the side of Pappett. And Premat being particularly strong with his elbows out attitude there, as we had a spin from the GQ Gentleman's Quarterly car of Maro Engel. Maybe he was tapped by Jamie Green, not quite sure. But no doubt about the man at the front. It is Matthias Ekstrom, who had given his mother a special birthday present a couple of days earlier when he drove her around in one of the DTM two-seater taxis, a couple-of-year-old DTM cars. Very quick indeed. I understand she really enjoyed the experience. Now Ekstrom wants to give her another birthday present, and that's a victory here in Valencia. Tomczyk ninth, Molina in 10th at the moment, then Winkelhock. String of cars go on board with Gary Paffett now. But Paffett, the loser at the start, had dropped back, well, 4 or 5 places. The man from in Suffolk now. His wife's here to cheer him on, and his eldest son. A little bit of carbon fibre flying, we often see that. The blue car, the bright blue car, is that of Alexandre Fermat, the Parisian. Now we can see the start from Gary's perspective, and he makes a very good start. Perhaps held up a little bit by teammate Spengler. Goes to the right, can't get through. And then switches to the outside, off the track a little bit. Not sure if he got a bit of a helping hand in that one. And as he regains momentum, well, 2 or 3 of them come past. So, hugely disappointing start to this race for the man who, of course, won the opening round at Hockenheim, Gary Paffett, former champion. The man who won most races last year but finished up second in the championship. And here's another replay of Molina here, and Molina sees the bumping and boring going on with Fermat, who's been criticised by the Mercedes drivers in the past for his strong arm tactics. Great onboard shots. These 470 brake horsepower machines, and that was a replay of how Engel got turned around, the multilingual German who raced in the British Formula 3 Championship. But we're back at the front now, and already 3 or 4 cars length between the leader Matthias Ekstrom and the pursuing pack. Looking back now, looking back at Martin Tomczyk from Gary Paffett's car. As ever in the DTM, 2 mandatory pit stops, and pit stop window will not open for another about 9 or 10 laps yet. We're suspecting there might be some quite different strategies here. Teams tend to call them on the hoop rather than have a pre-arranged plan. Always, of course, looking for some open racetrack, and also trading off the fuel burn against a tyre wear. Ekstrom, Spengler, and Oliver Jarvis, of course, promoted this year to the top Audi squad. And there is a Chinese driver having a bit of a moment in the red Stern car, and David Coulthard finds a way past him. Can't miss the bright yellow car of David Coulthard. Bruno Spengler, currently the best Mercedes at the moment. There's the gap between Paffett and Tomczyk for the final point. Points in the DTM down to 8th place. This circuit tends to have some very flat curves. Of course, it is primarily a motorcycle venue. Here's that start again. Seeing it from the front camera, and an excellent start by the Swede Ekstrom, who we understand, as we see it from a slightly different angle, will be testing a Red Bull NASCAR machine in the next few weeks, and may even compete in one of the NASCAR road races. There you see Spengler in the silver and blue Mercedes was quite slow off the line. That kind of held Gary Paffett up. Let's see what happens to Paffett here. Well, I think he just ran wide out of that corner. And there the other cars streaming by him. So Ekstrom heading for the United States. That could be very exciting and interesting indeed. Here we're on Bruno Spengler's car, right on the side there, that interesting camera angle. Paffett still a test driver for the McLaren Formula One team. And of course Paul di Resta now competing in some of the Friday practice sessions for Force India. And now into the pit stop phase, and it's Gary Paffett, one of the early stoppers. Paffett trying to get track position, but other cars coming in too. Molina amongst them in the Audi back car. Paffett screeches out. Magnificent stop, 3.2 seconds. You won't see much quicker than that. So that may just help Paffett a little bit. Molina, Winkelhock also out of the pits. There's the black Playboy Audi. Of course, all the positions will get shuffled around as we go through these two pit stops. Cars will be in the lead, which ultimately will have no chance of winning, perhaps. But at the moment, the man who is in the lead definitely has a chance of winning, and that is Matthias Ekstrom. Huge experience in these cars. Spengler keeping him honest in second place, although I think Ekstrom's starting to pull away. Jarvis still hanging on in third, di Resta fourth. Di Resta, as I was saying, now driving occasionally in Formula One Friday sessions for Force India, and hoping we might get a race drive out of it before the end of the season. Been doing a good job. Here's Spengler in. Interesting shot. Wheel gun goes on. Fresh Dunlop tyre is bolted into place. 3 others went on at the same time, remember, and all in 3.7 seconds, and they got 20 litres of fuel. Look at the graphic on your left. It shows who has made that first of the two predetermined pit stops. Engel, after that troubled start, comes in. He's in one of the year-old DTM cars. Well, all the cars actually this year are 12 months old, and some of them are basically 24 months old. And the older cars are allowed to run 25 kilograms lighter. The Audi Racing is called the R14 Plus, the current cars. The year-older cars are called R14. They did make a few modifications, particularly in the airflow around the engine compartment. And this is an R14 Plus, of course. The drivers pretty well sticking with the same actual cars they raced last year. And here comes in our leader, and this is Ekstrom. And he'll want to have a nice clean stop with the app team, who have been very busy in the last 7 or 8 days, because they've just come from the Nürburgring 24 hours, where they're running the R8 GT cars. 15 men in that pit stop, all with a job to do, all know how to do it supremely well. And look at that, that's Susie Stoddard just trying to get past the man who led early on, and will surely fight his way back to the front. Pit stops so far mean that Paul di Resta is currently in the lead. From in second place, here's David Coulthard. And DC going for a slightly longer run, currently shown in 9th place here at Valencia in Spain. So, the race continuing here in the sunshine, although the temperature just dropping off a little bit. There's Ollie Jarvis with the new back original colours on the car which was raced last year by Tom Christiansen. And Jarvis certainly has impressed, and news that he will be competing at Le Mans in one of the customer R10 Audis with the college team. More pits visitors, including Paul Di Resta and indeed Alex Pramart. Here's Pramart, the Parisienne. Another man with good sports car experience in the past. In new colours this year, that car. Showing allegiance to a German TV movie channel. Not too many high-speed corners, and you can, of course, use those curbs. Timo Scheider comes in then. Look, Martin Tomczyk is still out on a long run. And at the moment, Tomczyk putting in some very fast lap times indeed. Maybe his race engineer Dave Benbow has come up with a different but well worked out plan. Of course, will have worked that very closely with the data engineer on the car, and seems to be catapulting Tomczyk up the field a little bit. But remember, of course, he has not made that first pit stop. But currently Tomczyk shown in the lead from Jamie Green, another man who stayed out long. Action all down the field. Ah, look at this. Now he's coming in, Tomczyk, and well, snaking under braking as he comes down to 80 kilometers an hour, pushes a button on the steering wheel for the speed limiter. Well, be interesting to see where he's going to cycle back into the field. Gets the fresh rubber. Tomczyk definitely would have vaulted up the field a fair bit, certainly making this strategy work. Well, there he is, comes back in front of Gary Paffett. And we get the view there. Paffett trying to get through. Whoa! And Paffett gets out of shape. So Paffett chasing there the Red Bull Cola car of Martin Tomczyk. Jamie Green now the only man who hasn't made that pit stop, so that leaves him in the lead at the moment. He's going to drop back to 11th or 12th place, I would estimate. Mike Rockenfeller, hadn't talked much about him. Rocky having a pretty strong run in the year-old Audi. Here we see that challenge again by Paffett. Got his nose down the inside, didn't he? But then he got a bit out of shape on the brakes. And Tomczyk wisely went a bit wide, giving Gary some room, but held the advantage. And I think that could be pretty important. Shot here of David Coulthard in the yellow car. Coulthard still in 12th place. And the man in front of him is Ralf Schumacher, and he is now in front of Susie Stoddard. He chased Susie all through the Hockenheim race. Amazingly, 3 Scots in the DTM. There is Cheng, there is Ralf Schumacher in the Mirror car, sponsored by Laureus. And Ralf had actually been fastest in the pre-season test here at Valencia, but doesn't seem to be replicating that today. Second stop for Bruno Spengler. Spengler made a tremendous start to the season in the past. The man who's finished runner-up in the championship has always had pretty difficult starts to his season. There Rockenfeller goes through, I think, and there is Coulthard in for a second stop. Bounces off the jacks and accelerates away. DC is getting the hang of this DTM business. It'll take a few race meetings, I think, until he's completely up to speed. Oh, and out goes Ralf Schumacher, pulled the car into the garage. no immediate indication of the problem. So, well, not a happy day for Ralf Schumacher. Got a replay coming up here. And Gary Papitt trying hard, kicking up a little bit of the gravel as he runs wide. So Papitt still in the thick of the action here. Man who went into this race leading the championship after round one, although I don't think he's going to retain that. Green's still out on this very long first stint. Jarvis comes in, and Jarvis been right near the sharp end of this field, and can Jarvis get out and improve his position? There he is in front of Spengler. Great pit stop, good move by Oliver Jarvis, and currently shown sixth, but that will undoubtedly be second place when everybody's made their second pit stops. And again, Tomczyk putting in some fast laps. Oh, pulled the rest up, almost got tagged by Winkelhock as he came in. That's how close it was. Close, but not too close, I think. Maybe the stewards will take a little look at that one. So there, Jarvis ahead of Spengler, now coming under pressure from the Frenchman in the bright blue car. Tremart, man who a couple of years ago was crowned the Le Mans Endurance Series champion as the Audi bank car of Molina. And Molina just outside the points, I would estimate, at the moment. And all these stops are done and dusted. As Molina come back into the field here and comes back alongside Gary Papitt, but Gary's got the pace. And Papitt now chasing Rocky. Currently shown at the front is Tomczyk. Most of these cars now have made their second pit stop. Tomczyk, though, still out there. Green in second, he'll drop back, and then Ekstrom. My calculations suggest that when Tomczyk comes in, Ekstrom will then go back into the lead. A bit of action from the pits there from Molina. Well, there Molina just the rest of us, it went past. And now at last, Tomczyk comes in for his second stop. The only other man who hasn't made his second stop will be Green. Got a fresh set of tyres to go on. Quite a lot of tyre management going on over the weekend. Only so many sets for the whole race weekend. And Martin Tomczyk has kept a nice set of brand new ones for this final stint. So, Winkelhock coming in here with a problem. And, well, maybe it's a tyre problem, maybe it's a collapse of the suspension. Well, they've shut it down anyway. So, no points, no finish for Markus Winkelhock.
We had a broken rear suspension after the fast uphill chicane. The suspension broke, and I just had to come in because there was no possible to finish the race.
Well, look at this, Molina really putting the pressure on Gary Papitt. Gary, one of the most experienced men in the DTM, and coming under intense pressure indeed from one of the newest recruits, and Molina looks down the inside. doesn't quite make it. But certainly this battle giving the Spanish fans plenty to cheer. A couple of busloads came over from Lorette de Mar, complete with special T-shirts to cheer on their new hero. And let's see that in replay again.
Not really a lucky weekend for Ralf Schumacher, P13 in the qualifying, and now he came out of the car. What happened?
Well, we have a technical problem. I don't know exactly what it is. We have obviously to check and see later. Up till that moment, I was relatively pleased with the second set of tyres, but obviously too far away from the points.
Yeah, so another disappointing DTM weekend for Ralf Schumacher. And look at this, Molina going through there as we came back to the action. And Gary Pappett running a little bit wide under pressure. Might have been a little bit of action, a bit of contact I should say as well. Plenty of action, that's for certain. So Gary appears not to have such a good balance as he did in Hockenheim. Let's see this, so he's running wide. And then comes back in, but Molina's there. They make contact, odd pieces fly off, including something from the wheel. And then Molina pushing Gary towards the pit wall, which probably needs a bit of a talking to about after the race. Well, we can't actually hear it on this transmission, but some colourful language from Gary Pappett after that incident, back to the pits.
Towards the end, Molina drove into me into the last corner, just T-boned me in the middle of the corner, which again was pretty unacceptable. So I got, we didn't have very good speed, but also I got driven into by a lot of the Audis during the race, which is not easy to take because the racing is supposed to be fair, and this really wasn't fair. So.
Oh no, Oliver Jarvis slowing. We're hearing it might be a problem with the fuel pump. And yes, just coming in very slowly, or stopping actually out on the racetrack, got Oliver Jarvis. Dr. Ulrich be disappointed with that. And now David Coulthard. He actually passes the stranded Jarvis car, but this is an unscheduled pit stop. So another Brit to be denied here. And apparently David Coulthard with a transmission problem on his Mercedes-Benz, so that's pretty rare with these cars. Turns it straight into the garage. So Jarvis walking away, flings his gloves down.
It's very hard to take as a driver, you know, you put everything into it, the whole weekend goes well, and then for something to go wrong at the last minute. But I'm not sure what happened at the moment. The cars are still in Parc Fermé, but hopefully we'll have a better understanding in an hour or so. But looks like something to do with the engine or fuel system.
So, closing stages now, Ekstrom with a 0.8 second lead over Tomczyk, who has really vaulted up the order with that different strategy. Molina has been warned by the stewards for his manoeuvre against Pappett, and Spengler unable to pull away from the chasing duo of Primat and Scheider, certainly having a better race here on to the last lap. And Pappett having another go to try and get past Molina. Can he do it? Well, he'd desperately like to get this position back, I'm sure. Let's see what happens. Daring moments here on the final lap. Pappett very tight into the apex of the corner. Pappett pushing hard. Oh, look at this. Pappett down the inside. Bit of contact. I think Gary's still pretty angry about the Spaniards' earlier tactics. But meanwhile, here's the Audis heading towards the line in first and second positions. Well, it was all about Mercedes-Benz at Hockenheim. It's pretty well about the Audi four rings here at Valencia. And the checkered flag falls, and after a long lean period, Matthias Ekstrom takes the victory from Martin Tomczyk running that excellent strategy. Then Spengler, Premat and Scheider with fifth place. And the rest of the field going through there. Well, they came to Spain and Audi did the business here. Confirmation of the result. Ekstrom, Spengler, Premat, Scheider, and you notice no Tomczyk on that final run down there. There's a reason for that. We'll explain it in just a moment.
Well, it was not a thriller, this race, I have to say. Not a classical DTM race, but anyway, we have 4 drivers in the top 5 in the point standings now. We have had stronger races, but we were quick in warm-up, in qualifying, not 100% the right speed in the race. The changes on the track are quite dramatic here, different temperatures, and maybe we did not hit that window correctly. Basically, we have a very good car. Now we're looking forward to the next race that allows its ring.
Yeah, Ekstrom then had dominated this one. Great job by the Audi driver. Good job too by Spengler.
Dr. Wolfgang Uhrlich, quite an easy question. Seems to be a happy day for Audi.
Yeah, it was a really good race, and yeah, we could have made a 1-2-3. Good performance, good strategy. Unfortunately, Oliver somehow had a technical problem. I think it was a problem with the fuel pump because he stopped in position 3. And on the other hand, I have to say a strong team performance as well. We could collect many points. Great. And I'm happy with the result.
Audi and Martin Tomczyk celebrated only briefly. On Saturday, Tomczyk failed to make it into the final part of the 4-round qualifying shootout, and the regulations stipulate that the team has to withdraw one of their registered set of race tyres. The team communicated the serial numbers of the withdrawn tyres to the technical scrutineers as required by the rules. However, the team had made a mistake and they gave the wrong numbers. This contravened an article in the sporting regulations, and Audi have accepted that they are disqualified from second place, and well, very disappointing indeed for them. But the celebrations continued. At least Tomczyk was able to taste the champagne, only to be disappointed, of course, later in the day. And this has made quite a difference to the points. Hugely disappointing, of course, for Tomczyk, because he'd driven an outstanding race with a great strategy, and well, to be denied by something that wasn't anything to do with him, well, absolutely devastating, of course. So the DTM cars racing in Spain, and incidentally that problem for Tomczyk moved Molina back into the points again.
The winner of this weekend, the race of Valencia, is here. Matthias Ekstrom, you just gave the champagne to your mechanics. It seems to be a very happy day for you.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I had a lot of races last year when I were leading and didn't win. Sometimes was bad luck, sometimes I did some mistakes, and it's tough for the whole team that you are quick but you never win. But today, finally we got the victory, and finally I passed this number 13 victory and went to number 14, so hopefully that was the end of the bad omen.
And a nice burnout there. But let's hear the thoughts of Bruno Spengler on the podium again and leads the championship.
And the leader of the championship at the moment. How was it for you? It was very hot, Bruno.
Oh yeah, it was quite a tough race today. The pace we had wasn't as good as the Audis. Obviously, they were very good now in the warm conditions. We were a bit better this morning, I think, in the fresher conditions. So it was a tough race for me. I struggled a little bit. but I fight it hard to get these points. And when Martin Topschik came out of the pits, I didn't know from where he was coming from. I think he just did a very quick stint. Matthias Ekström was also unbelievably quick, so I think overall the Audis have been a bit stronger than us today, but we have been stronger in Hockenheim, so it's every time a new weekend, and this time it wasn't our time, but we still hold the maximum points. I'm happy for the team that I could bring these points because they're working so hard, and for myself also, first time in my DTM career that I'm leading the championship, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to think too much about the championship points now, but I've been always unlucky in the first races, and this time the luck seems to be there, at least for the first races, but I'm just not going to think about it and carry on pushing hard every race and then see where we are.
Yeah, here's the championship positions then, Spengler, with that 3-point lead over Ekstrom, Paffett third, then to Resta, Scheider and Mike Rockenfeller. So the DTM was hot in Spain, ultimately an Audi victory. Disappointment for Martin Tomczyk, but the leader of the championship, of course, the Canadian Bruno Spengler. We'll leave you with some great images from this second round of the series. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time from the Euro Speedway Lausitz. But until then, from me, Andrew Marriott, it's goodbye until the next time.